Hi, and welcome to my channel. In today's episode, we're going to learn how to buy Bitcoin and why we should even buy Bitcoin. If this sounds good to you, please like and subscribe. I make this content for you, not for me. It's to help you, it's to help my family, it's to help my friends understand what's going on in the cryptocurrency space and why it's so important to invest in some now before prices skyrocket. Okay, if that sounds good to you, let's get started. So first, let's take a look at what has been going on. So we know that ever since the beginning, well, it's been happening for several years now. I won't quote the exact date, but inflation has been a real thing and prices just keep going up, which means, as we see here, inflation is a rise in prices, which can be translated basically as the decline of our purchasing power. This is a huge problem, and we've seen it to be an even larger problem ever since COVID, as I was saying, because as you all remember, everyone was receiving these amazing checks in the mail, everyone was excited, and no one really thought about the grand scheme implications. And the big picture implications on why this is so problematic is because this further debased the US dollar, our currency and our purchasing power, as we just read. If we go back to the article, so here we see this is by NASDAQ. So quite the respected company. So here it basically says that the money printing and inflation due to COVID increased all the more. So here we see that as of March 2021, COVID has cost $5.2 trillion, which is more. Where does it say it? Here you go. This total is more than the US has spent in its 13 most expensive wars combined. Like, how massive is this? All of this basically brings us to one of the main points that's behind the heartbeat of this video, which is the dollar is being debased, is losing its power, its purchasing power. And as we see here on this website by JP Morgan, which is the owner or one of the owners, don't quote me, of Chase Bank, right? It's JP Morgan and Chase Bank, which they do not have an incentive to make us believe this, mind you, because if they're the largest bank or one of the largest banks and they want us to hold the US dollar, right? They're not going to want us to be worried this is happening. Now, mind you, if you read the whole article, which I will link below, you'll see they're actually not making the case for the dollar losing its power just yet, but they'll explain that it's happening. It's losing its dominance, as we see on the screen here. And some of the key reasons this is happening is because of the whole just really, really sad war and disaster that's happening in Russia and Ukraine. Also, due to the whole oil markets, and just the whole sort of like chess game, like moving of pieces that's happened there. So essentially, that's a whole other conversation on the US petrodollar, but these are just some key takeaways if you care to read about it. But basically, the US dollar, as we see here, has been one of the world's primary reserve currencies. And now it's in question. This is a massive problem just brewing. And because we know that as it is in itself, the US dollar has not been backed by gold in a long time. Here we can see, if you just Google, it happened in 1971, where, the gold standard stopped in 1971 because of President Nixon. There were many reasons for this, but this basically means that the dollar is not pegged or is not backed by gold anymore. So really, dollars nowadays are just zeros and ones, right? Yeah, so this leads us to the point of our video, which is what many are speculating, and this is from the Economic Times. So once again, it's a trick when doing your research and trying to find, respectable sources just because it's all a web. I would have loved to share with you an image, but if you just Google, who owns the biggest media companies, you'll see that it's this web of like the major networks owning the major media companies, but then who, who often supports these different networks. It's usually, well, I'm not going to say usually because I don't know all the details, but it's a lot of big rich parties that have big interests in the news media outlets sharing news that favors the financial results they want. I know that was a mouthful to follow, but anyway, that said, that's why I get my sources from multiple different well-known sites so that you get a well-rounded picture of what's going on. So here we see in the Economic Times, it's saying the headline is, can Bitcoin be the new gold that funds your future? And there's many reasons for this. They're calling it the digital gold, but mainly it's because there are only so many Bitcoin that will ever exist because it's programmed money, it's cryptographic money. So as you can see on the screen, and this is a known fact, currently there's 19,606,318.75 Bitcoin in existence. There will only ever be 21 million. So right off the bat, we know it's a very scarce asset. And if something is based on something that's so scarce, we know it goes up. It's really valuable and can only go up in value in time the more people want to own it and want to buy it. So the price keeps going up and up and up. Anyway, this is just to share a big picture of like why Bitcoin, why is it being considered as the new potential gold or world reserve currency, as the US dollar has been historically. And this, let's zoom in. I wanted to zoom in. Sorry, it was not zoomed in priorly. But this, if you've been following my channel, you'll know that I covered the Bitcoin ETF's approval 2 days in a row. It was a big deal. It's a historical event that just happened. It really marks the beginning of institutional money, which statistically is backed in large majority by the baby boomer generation, which is the age group that's going into retirement and oftentimes holds a large amount of their money is being worked by different financial institutions, financial managers, such as BlackRock or Fidelity. Anyway, this was to show you, I just wanted to give you a big picture of how many financial institutions had their Bitcoin ETFs approved, which basically allows them to sell Bitcoin on their platforms openly. So this is massive. And even though Bitcoin's price has not reflected, this massive rally and prices going up and everyone making so much money, I think in large part that was to be expected because now we have real serious money entering the market and we just don't know all of the strategies they're going to use. Honestly, that's a whole other conversation as well. But nevertheless, it's just a matter of time before Bitcoin goes up in price. Today it was at like 40,000. We will see a chart in a minute. That said, this leads me to present to you the top exchanges, the most reputable ones or respected crypto exchanges that have been they've been around for the longest. The best experiences, they have the best customer experiences. Because the thing is, in crypto, because it's so new, you have exchanges popping up right and left. So you may have heard of other crypto exchanges, but while you're new, I would encourage you just to stay to these, just stay close and just use the main, well-known, well-respected exchanges. This is one, Coinbase, especially if you're American. The next one is Gemini, like Gemini twins. It's actually owned by some twins called the Winklevoss twins. And then we have Binance. Binance is a big one. It's a giant in the space, well respected. Then we have Kraken. And then we have OKX. Signing up with these exchanges is quite straightforward. It's like creating an email or creating an account with, any other like service provider. It's quite simple. I don't personally use these exchanges, so full disclosure, I will not be letting you in because I don't personally use them. I buy my crypto, which can be a separate video, but I keep my crypto on cold storage or a ledger. Like I take my crypto assets off, any online or hot wallet. I also use many DEXs, which will be a separate video. Basically, a DEX is a decentralized exchange. Just full disclosure, we might as well get to know each other. I'm partially American. I'm also partially Bolivian from South America. So, but I don't actually hold that passport. We're really getting to know each other here. So that said, I try to be conservative in where I do my transactions. I could do it on Coinbase, as I showed you a moment ago, or Gemini, because they allow Americans. But it hasn't really been a need for me. I usually just will connect my MetaMask, which is in my previous video. I will also link below. Sorry, it's tired. It's a little late here. I'm tired. So I usually just transact directly through my MetaMask, which I can show you tomorrow. I'll just blur everything out. Oh, we'll do it in the new account I set up for you. Let me hop over to the main screen. So I will show you tomorrow how to buy crypto the way I do. As I was explaining a moment ago when you couldn't really see me on the screen quite well, I don't actually use any of these major exchanges because I am American. And so taxes and all these things are not quite favorable to Americans, or some of these exchanges just won't let Americans use them, period. So as an American, you would have to use a decentralized exchange, which once again, I will cover tomorrow. That's a big one because there are ways to buy crypto if you're American. But that said, it's quite simple though. Once you sign up with any of these exchanges, it's a very user-friendly experience. You literally just sign up with your email. It'll send you a confirmation code. You set up a safe, password. Then once you're in, it'll ask you, you'll be able to buy and sell. What I will do, because I'm not trying to hoard all the followers and only follow me, I'm here to help everyone who's new enter into crypto, and I happen to know, and I'm happy to share with you all the main crypto influencers or thought leaders that are our friends. I'm happy to share their channels with you so you can go learn more in detail. And I don't earn anything by it. I'm not an affiliate for them. They're just my friends. But I would encourage you to, so I will share with you where you can go learn more on how to use these different exchanges. And I'm actually waiting on my Bolivian passport, which will then allow me to use some of these exchanges, in which case I'll show you firsthand how I do it. But for the time being, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take you into it in great detail. But I would also recommend, if you are American, you can just go here, Swan Bitcoin as well. Let me show you. You can also just come here to Swan Bitcoin. I asked around, I did some research, and this is a really well recommended platform to buy Bitcoin. And you can actually sign up as an American, but I'm just sharing the resource with you. So that said, what I will do for you is I will link below a really good tutorial by Crypto Casey, who I actually don't know, although I would like to be friends. And she does walk you through on how to actually use these different exchanges once you're in, and how to actually buy crypto or Bitcoin. So I will link her video. It's really good. But if you ever have questions, or what my channel is really good about is painting the big picture, sharing a lot of the history and the culture and sort of lingo, the language they use, and explanations of why it matters. That is my angle on my channel. So once again, happy to connect you with her channel and the video in specific that'll show you how to buy Bitcoin. That said, it's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed. Sorry if I was a little tired today, but I wanted to at least share this with you on the importance of Bitcoin, why buy Bitcoin, and how and where to go to do this. So that said, I will see you tomorrow. God bless. Ciao.